So what we see depicted on the gemstone, engraved on the gemstone, is an image of the Good Shepherd. Now, the Good Shepherd was one of the earliest Christian symbols used by the Christian community in the East.
Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rachahakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation, as always, goes to the elect. And this article was sent to me by the beloved brother Aitazawam. And the title of this article is Good Shepherd Gold Ring Found in Roman Era Wreck off Israel. Now, when the brother sent the video or the article, he asked, was he reaching, to say that this image looks like a so-called black man? And I told him, nah, I don't think you're reaching. So what do y'all think? He looks like an afro, right? Looks like dark skin. Look at the time that the article was published. Interesting as well. We'll look back at that in a minute. Let's read a little bit of the article. It says, Israeli researchers on Wednesday displayed a Roman era golden ring with an early Christian symbol for the Messiah inscribed in its gemstone, found in a shipwreck off the ancient port of Caesarea. The thick octagonal gold ring with its green gemstone bore the figure of the Good Shepherd, which when you go to John the 10th chapter, Yahweh Shai tells you he is the Good Shepherd. Good Shepherd is the one that leads the sheep. It says, in the form of a young shepherd boy in a tunic with a ram or sheep across its shoulders. A red gemstone with a carving of a lyre was also found in the relatively shallow waters, as well as remains of a wooden hull of the ship, the authority said. It says, he said that while the image existed in early Christian symbolism representing the Messiah as a caring shepherd tending to his flock and guiding those in need, finding it on a ring was rare. The presence of such a symbol on a ring, probably owned by a Roman operating in or around Caesarea, made sense. And it was most likely, it was an Israelite that was in Rome, because the Israelites were scattered, throughout the regions of Rome, right? So, given ethically and religiously heterogeneous nature of the port in a 3rd century, when it was one of the Christians' earliest centuries, it was a period when followers of Yahweh Shai, that says Christianity, was just in its beginning, but definitely growing and developing, especially in mixed cities like Caesarea. That's when the word Yahweh Shai, everything, started to go out and preach. Noting the ring itself was small, implying that it had maybe belonged to a woman. This is also something they found. I don't know what the hell that is. And while Christianity was being practiced in underground forms at the time, she said the Roman Empire was relatively tolerant of new forms of worshiping, including the followers of the Messiah, making it reasonable for a wealthy citizen of the empire to wear such a ring. All right? So, just wanted to show this to the flock. It looks like a so-called black man, right? Now we know when he walked the earth, he was a so-called black man, dark-skinned man, all right? But this is interesting, all right? Now we know in the scriptures, which Christians hate when we bring this out, he's described as a dark-skinned man even in his heavenly state. This is Revelation. It says John saw this vision on the Isle of Patmos, and it says, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, I saw one like unto the Son of Man. That's how we know the spiritual bodies, okay, they sort of, emulate the bodies we have here. They have arms, legs, feet, head, eyes. So that's what it meant. One like unto the Son of Man. Clothed with a garment, meaning they're clothed with garments. Okay? This is him in his heavenly estate. So you have a lot of Edomites who say, well, this is speaking of Jesus when he was in his heavenly state, but they're using it to say that he was a black man. Well, the angels are so-called black men. They have a dark hue. All right? You Edomites are through, man. Call halal Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It says, clothed with a garment down to the foot and a gird about the paps with the golden girdle. So he had on, in his heavenly estate, okay, he had on clothing, okay, the spiritual body. He appeared to him in his vision. His head and his hairs were white like wool. Old English, when you say head and hairs, is speaking of the hair on your head and also your beard, which is connected, all right, to the hairs on your head. So the head and his hairs were white like wool. So this meaning he had a woolly white afro and a woolly, in a white beard, hair on his face. And the Messiah had hair on his face. It talks about in the prophecy how they plucked the hair off of his cheeks. So he had a beard. So it says, in his eyes, okay, so the head and his hairs were white like wool and white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Okay? And his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters. So his feet were like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace, meaning his feet were dark skinned. He had dark skin. His hue was dark. It goes in even deeper when you go to Daniel. One second. Daniel, the 9th chapter, I believe. His arms were like unto polished brass. Daniel 10. And 5. And I lifted up mine eyes. Very interesting that John and Daniel, received so much in their visions, right? Because in spirit, those are the same people. Daniel, as the Lord told him in, I believe, the 12th chapter, he's going to raise up. Matter of fact, let's get that. Daniel 12 and 13. But go thy way till the end be, and thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of days. So we know Daniel was raised back up, even in these times. All right, but if you can receive it, Daniel is John the Revelator. All right, Yahweh favorite. Anyway, Daniel 10 and 5. Then I lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose loins were girded with fine gold of Uphaz. His body was also like the beryl, and his face as the appearing of lightning, and his eyes as the lamps of fire, and his arms and his feet. So he had a garment on that was likened unto the color of beryl, which is green. Okay? And his arms were showing, and his arms and his feet like in color of polished brass, which is a dark hue, brownish. He goes on to say like it was burned in a furnace in Revelation. And the voice of his words were like the voice of a multitude. It's the same thing that John the Revelator saw. A big, aggressive, all right, angel, okay, in an angelic body in the form of a man, right? You can read more upon that. But, yeah, it's interesting. Looks like a guy, a brother with an afro and dark skin. All right, so I don't think the brother was reaching. What y'all think? Shalom.